Laws of motion. Objective. In this lesson, we will learn about Galileo and his experiments, Newton and his ideas, first law of motion, second law of motion, third law of motion. Introduction. We observe the changes in motion of many objects around us. Philosophers of the ancient world were very much interested in the study of motion. Galileo Galilei gave birth to modern science by stating that an object in motion will remain in same motion as long as no external force is applied on it. Galileo did his experiments on inclined planes with smooth surfaces and observed that the smoother the surface, the farther the ball travelled. He extended this argument and concluded that if the surface was perfectly smooth, the ball will travel indefinitely until encountered by another object. Galileo imagined a world where there is no friction, but as we know that this is not possible in reality. Built upon ideas primarily developed by Aristotle and Galileo, Sir Isaac Newton proposed three fundamental laws which explain the connection between force and a change in motion. These three laws are popularly called as Newton's laws of motion. First law of motion. The first law of motion can be stated as follows. Every object will remain at rest or in a state of uniform motion unless compelled to change its state by the action of a net force. Newton's first law explains what happens to an object when no net force acts on it. It either remains at rest or moves in a straight line with constant speed. Observing the motion of a pen cap kept on a thick paper ring. The cap falls in the bottle because of inertia. Observing the motion of the coins hit by a striker. Inertia means not accepting the change, which means things tend to keep doing what they are already doing. Newton's first law of motion is also known as law of inertia. Here, the books don't get disturbed because of static inertia. The ball continues to move till the player stops because of dynamic inertia. When the net force acting on a body is zero, we say that the body is in equilibrium. Inertia and mass. Which is easy for you? To push a bicycle or a car? We can observe that it is difficult to push the car. We say car has greater inertia than the bicycle. Inertia is a property of matter that resists changes in its state of motion or rest. It depends on the mass of the object. The car possesses more inertia than a bicycle because it has more mass. Mass of an object is considered as a measure of inertia. The SI unit of mass is kg. Second law of motion. Newton's second law explains us what happens to an object when non-zero net force acts on it. Then the ball accelerates from rest. Thus, we can say that force is an action which produces acceleration. A non-zero net force acting on a body disturbs the state of equilibrium. Now, we are going to discuss how the acceleration of an object depends on the force applied on it and how we measure a force. Linear momentum. A small bullet fired from gun damages the wall only due to its high speed. We all know that a heavy truck damages more than a bicycle if both hit a wall. This is because of momentum. The momentum depends on two factors. One is mass of an object and velocity. Newton used the word mass in motion to represent the meaning of momentum. The momentum of a body is simply defined as the product of its mass and its velocity. That is, momentum equals to mass into velocity equals to mv. The SI unit of momentum is kg meter per second or Newton second. We can see that ice block when given a small force moves to a small distance because of less acceleration, and when the force is increased, the acceleration is also increased. So, we can say that larger the net force, greater the acceleration. Larger the mass, smaller the acceleration. In both the cases, the object accelerates, but we can observe in the second case, it will not speed up as quickly as before. From the above examples, we have noticed that the larger the net force, greater the acceleration if the mass of the body is constant, and also larger the mass, lesser the acceleration if a constant net force is applied. According to Newton's principle, second law states that the rate of change of momentum of an object is proportional to the net force applied on the object in the direction of net force. Third law of motion. We notice that the readings are same in the spring balances. This is because according to third law of motion, when an object exerts a force on the other object, the second object also exerts a force on the first one, which is equal in magnitude but opposite in direction. The two opposing forces are known as action and reaction pair. Newton's third law explains what happens when one object exerts a force on another object. Newton's first and second laws of motion apply to a single body, whereas Newton's third law of motion applies to an interaction between the two bodies. Note that the two forces in Newton's third law never act on the same body. The action-reaction pair in Newton's third law always represents forces acting on two different bodies simultaneously. Let us see some more examples. When birds fly, they push the air downwards with their wings, and the air pushes back the bird in opposite upward directions. Thus, the force applied by the wings of bird on air and opposite force applied by the air on wings are equal in magnitude and opposite in direction. When a fish swims in water, the fish pushes the water back and the water pushes the fish with equal force but in opposite direction. The force applied by water makes the fish to move forward. A rocket accelerates by expelling gas at high velocity. The reaction force of the gas on the rocket accelerates the rocket in a direction opposite to the expelled gases. Conservation of momentum and impulse. Let two objects with masses m1 and m2 travel with different velocities u1 and u2 respectively in the same direction along a straight line. As the velocities are different, they collide with each other and the collision lasts for time t. Which is very small. During the collision, the first marble exerts a force on the second marble F21 and the second marble exerts a force on the first marble F12. So, let V1 and V2 be the velocities of the marbles respectively after collision. m1u1 plus m2u2 is the total momentum of the two marbles before collision, and m1v1 plus m2v2 is the total momentum of the two marbles after collision. From the above equation, we observe that the total momentum is unchanged before and after collisions. We can say that the momentum is conserved. Law of conservation of momentum states in the absence of a net external force on the system, the momentum of the system remains unchanged. Why does a pole vault jumper land on thick mats of foam? Is it safe to jump on sand rather than a cement floor? Why? A softer and more cushioned landing surface provides a greater stopping distance because of the longer time taken to stop. That's why the fielder pulls back his hands while catching a fast-moving cricket ball. In this situation, the fielder is trying to increase the time to decrease its velocity. Thus, the rate of change of momentum will be less so that the force of impact of the ball on hands will be reduced. As we expressed the second law as F net equals to Pt from the above equation, we know that the product of net force and interaction time is called impulse of net force. Impulse is equivalent to the change in momentum that an object experiences during an interaction. Dropping eggs. Take 2 eggs and drop them from a certain height such that one egg falls on a concrete floor and another egg falls on a cushioned pillow. When we drop the egg on the concrete floor, it will break because a large force acts on the egg for the short interval of time. P equals to F net T. When we drop the egg on a cushioned pillow, it doesn't break because a smaller force acts on the egg for longer time. Even if the P is the same in both cases, the magnitude of the net force acting on the egg determines whether the egg will break or not. Why does a fielder catch a fast-moving cricket ball by pulling back his arms while catching it? If he doesn't pull his hands back, what would happen? The ball definitely hurts him. When he pulls back his hands, he experiences a smaller force for a longer time. The ball stops only when your hands stop. The change in the momentum not only depends on the magnitude of the force but also on the time during which force is exerted on that object. Summary. First law of motion. A body continues its state of rest or uniform motion unless a net force acts on it. The natural tendency of objects to resist a change in their state of rest or uniform motion is called inertia. The mass of an object is a measure of inertia. SI unit of mass is kilogram. Second law of motion. The rate of change of momentum of a body is directly proportional to the net force acting on it, and it takes place in the direction of net force. Linear momentum of a body is the product of its mass and velocity. P equals to mv. 1 Newton is the force which, when acting on a body of mass 1 kg, produces an acceleration of 1 meter per second square. 1 Newton equals to 1 kg into 1 meter per second square. Third law of motion. If one object exerts a force on the other object, the second object exerts a force on the first one with equal magnitude but in opposite direction. In an isolated system, that means where there is no net force, the total momentum is conserved.